Okay, the president of Senegal, very brand new president, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, went to Accra, Ghana, to go and discuss with the president of Ghana about very specific subject. On the top of the subject was asking the Ghanaian president to sit down with other presidents and see how they can get Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to come back into ECOWAS. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate you. You know, my name is Zack. I don't know who you are, but hey, if you watch this video till the end, we're certainly going to love each other. I salute you from all over the place: Zimbabwe, South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, Somalia, Ethiopia. Let me stop right there. It's too many people, too many of you. Okay. Okay, so we are in Ghana. Here's Ghana. Okay. And the president of Senegal, here's Senegal. His name is Bassirou Diomaye Faye. He's a brand new president, 44 years old. Yeah, he's just been elected recently. Now, this president went to Ghana to have a discussion. And he said to the Ghanaian counterpart that we need to sit down and find a solution when it comes to Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. Why is that? Because things are not well. We're supposed to be working as a family. And number two, on a security level, certain countries are threatened with illicit drug trafficking and cybercrime. ECOWAS still has many challenges to overcome, and it will be only met with difficulties if they do not bring together Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. So, let me give you context. This country is named Mali. This one here's name is Burkina Faso. And that one is Niger. These three countries, a while back, decided to topple their president. These three countries have one thing in common. What is it? They are all run by soldiers, military. Okay. Why? How? These three countries decided to topple their president and replace them by soldiers. Why is that? Because these three countries believe that their president were not working for the interest of the people of the country. How did that come about? Right? We're going back. Many, many years ago, fellas, Europeans came to Africa. Before they came to Africa, they went to Berlin. They sat together and discussing how they're going to divide Africa. Why did they need to divide Africa? Because they wanted the goods and the riches of Africa, but they did not want to fight each other in Africa. Therefore, in Berlin, they decided, you, France, you're going to take such and such and such country. You, Britain, will take Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, Kenya, South Africa, and many others. The Portuguese will take Angola, Mozambique. The Belgian will take the Congo, and many others. So front and so forth. That's how it happened. That was the colonization. And during that time, Africans were subdued unto some of the most horrendous situations ever. In the 1960s, African countries got what they call independence. And at that time, European nations decided to return into Europe officially. But France had something very specific under its sleeves. France called all these countries that were colonized by them and said, listen, before we leave, we need to sign a piece of paper. In this piece of paper, it says literally, after colonization still is before colonization. In other words, we're going to print a currency for you to use. You're going to call it the CFA franc. We are going to print it. You are going to use it. And that's how France kept its hold on many African nations. Many experts believe that France actually selected Puppet as president for many African French-speaking countries. So as much as people thought, okay, we have a president, in reality, it wasn't that. It was somebody chosen by France because, yeah, he's supporting the interest of France, making sure France has opportunities, minings, and many other things, commerce, businesses, and all that stuff. Now, these people have had enough, these presidents of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, and say, because we seem to be run by puppets, let's take power ourselves. Mali took over the country. Burkina Faso followed suit, then Niger. Now you have these three countries that are completely freed from France influence. But in the meantime, there was a reaction from ECOWAS countries. These are ECOWAS. ECOWAS are countries of Africa that work together. These are West African countries that work together economically, politically. ECOWAS was not happy when these three countries decided to leave, to chase away France soldiers and France businesses. They were not happy. I mean, you would think as an African, when an African brother is trying to free themselves from whatever is an external power, you would get support from an African brother. But that wasn't the case. Many African nations in ECOWAS were actually ready to go into Niger and go start a war. Yes, when Niger freed itself, people of ECOWAS, including the President Tinubu of Nigeria, ECOWAS asked Niger to reinstate the previous president, or else they're going to come in and destroy. So the question was, if you love the people of Niger so much, why would you go to war with them in the name of one person? Why would you do that? Wow. Okay. Just so you know, there's a big difference between Nigeria and Niger. This is Nigeria. This is Niger. Again, this is Nigeria. This is Niger. Niger is the country that toppled the president. The president named Mohamed Bazoum. Nigerian president wanted other ECOWAS country to attack Niger. And since that time, and once they did that, to the surprise of everybody, Burkina Faso and Mali said, if ECOWAS dare to attack Niger, they are going to war against them. So they received support from Niger and Burkina Faso. Now, since that moment came along, it's been a very cold relationship between ECOWAS and these three countries. So now, the brand new president of Senegal, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, says, you know what, fellas, I think we need to speak to our brothers. I mean, we cannot continue like this because we are faced with many other difficulties. There's drugs coming into our countries because very recently, if you don't know, you're going to know now, Senegal arrested big batches of, coming from where? We don't know. Many people think it comes from South America. I mean, Senegalese don't necessarily consume it. It's most likely to be consumed in Europe, and Senegal is used as a breaking point. So he says we're seeing many negative things happening since we cannot talk or cooperate with our African brothers. How about we sit down? He's talking to the Ghanaian president. How about we call them and have a discussion and find a solution and bring them back into our family? Because the three countries said we are not part of the ECOWAS system anymore. We're going to create our own things. It's going to be our own alliance of our three countries working together. We want nothing to do with you guys because you guys depend on Europe because you guys are subdued to them. Now, how are they subdued to Europe? Because many of these African organizations actually get sponsorships from the European Union. Yeah, I know. It's stupid, isn't it? You're a continent, you are adults, but you still get money from another continent and you pretend to be free. You must be out of your mind. Now, my question is this. How are they going to convince these three countries that have fought very hard to free themselves from the shackle of control to come back into this big pool that is supposedly under control? How are they ever going to do that? Because they try to use pressure. ECOWAS tried to use pressure against these three countries by blocking the ports. You can see here, these countries are all inland countries. They are on the continent. They don't have any side to the sea. So they need the sea for commerce, for enterprise, for business. Why do you need the sea? You need the sea because it's cheaper than using airplanes. It's cheaper to use ships than using airplanes to ship stuff from China to Africa. Now, ECOWAS blocked these three countries from doing anything through the sea for a while, hoping they're going to suffocate them. It didn't work. Now, the young president of Senegal said, let's sit down and have a talk. Let's call them and have a discussion. Do you think ECOWAS will be willing to be a free African organization at last and not depend on Europeans? Because that's the only way I see them coming back. How are they going to come back if things have not changed? Because nothing has changed this far. Apart Senegal has got a brand new president, a younger one. How are they going to change? Fellas, there are many lessons to learn in life. One of them is just because we have the same skin color does not necessarily mean we're brothers. Just because somebody looks like you does not mean he loves you and wants good things for you. Because the Nigerian president was one of the first persons to encourage other nations to attack these three countries because they toppled their president. They even cut electricity off of these countries. Why? Because Niger gets electricity from Nigeria. Nigeria sells electricity to Niger. And when they toppled the president, Nigeria cut electricity off to Niger and endangering people's life. Imagine all the people that were in the hospitals, all the children that needed, oxygen and stuff. Imagine all that. Just because supposedly they wanted the old president to get back. So you love the old president so much that you will sacrifice the life of the people in hospitals, the elderly people, the babies and the stuff. Makes no sense. Let me know how you feel about this. Is there a way? Is there a way to get back together as Africans and work together? God bless.